The MCU is a funny place sometimes, especially when it comes to adapting its characters it borrows from the page.
What the f is this?
Now, the MCU does have a decent track record of reinventing its characters. Characters like Iron Man and Thor aren't exactly one-to-one from their comic book counterparts. But it's funny because their adaptations become so popular that the comics start behaving like how they were in the movie. But some of these adaptations aren't exactly as successful. With that being said, and the release of the new Thunderbolts movie, I wanted to talk about MCU Taskmaster. Quick backstory for Tony Masters, aka Taskmaster. Originally appearing all the way back in the 80s with Avengers 195, and then fully appearing in 196. The first time we meet Taskmaster, he's an overcalculating douche who boasts about his special ability of photographic reflexes, meaning he can copy any physical action. Instead of using this ability for good, he instead uses it for monetary gain.
Yeah, money! 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 Yes! Yes! Yes!
Training henchmen and criminals just purely for profit. Now, I like that idea. It's sort of like he's the evil equivalent of Richard Simmons for the criminal underworld.
Hey, I want to dance with somebody. Come on! Can you come dance too? Exhale. That's it. And again, 5, 6.
Class is starting at $8.95. Call now. Taskmaster has definitely proven that he can hold his own against people like Cap, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Deadpool. Actually, funnily enough, the character that Taskmaster refuses to fight is Moon Knight. The reason being is that he doesn't fight like a normal person.
How come you didn't tell me how good the cheese was?
Figures. Now, when it comes to good old Stairmaster being adapted into other media, it kind of just comes off as a Deathstroke clone. Instead of being a cocky douche who boasts about his abilities, he just comes across more generic than anything.
I do this for cash, not for the thrills. I'm so much better than you. You can't win. Did you miss me?
You're out of your mind to come here. I will destroy you.
Loser!
Case in point, Ultimate Spider-Man in the Avengers cartoons. Instead of being a cocky douche, he's more a stoic douche.
What's wrong with shortcuts? In a fight, every second counts. Working hard isn't always the smartest solution, and my photographic reflexes are the ultimate shortcut.
Now, he doesn't have to be Deadpool levels of jokey, but like throw a cocky remark in there or something.
Nice move.
And don't even get me started on the Avengers video game version of Taskmaster. He barely makes a quip and he just sits there tanking hits, barely using his special ability of photographic reflexes.
What the hell is this? For crying out loud, somebody throw a pie!
Now, Spider-Man PS4 had its own version of Taskmaster, which I thought was pretty good of an adaptation.
If you know my moves, you know I'm gonna wreck you.
Surprise me if you can.
But the thing is, the only thing that throws it off for me is the voice.
Your loss. They pay 6 figures. Guess some people just deserve to be poor.
6 figures?
I feel like he would sound different, sort of like a douchey version of Mo Sislak, but that's just me. Now, my favorite video game interpretation of Taskmaster is actually the one that first introduced me to the character. That's Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That voice, that ending, and even its combo set is so dead on for the character.
You are the ass kick E, I am the ass kicker.
Now, as a kid, not having any previous introduction to who Taskmaster was, I was wondering, who is this character using Cap's shield, Hawkeye's bow, and Spider-Man's webs? Like, what kind of on-the-nose name is Taskmaster?
I don't even know who you are.
Little did I know that this character would grow on me and actually become one of my favorite Avengers villains. Cut to 2019, with the announcement of the Black Widow solo film, rumors started circulating around the internet that Taskmaster would actually be the villain of that film. Months later, set photos would actually appear online of this dude in a tank. I thought it was a henchman at first, but apparently this is Taskmaster. Eventually, we would get promotional art showing off more of this design. It just didn't scream Taskmaster to me. Like, honestly, I think it's the visor that really throws it off. It kind of screams New Goblin, like a snowboarder kind of thing, instead of a skull mask. Like, I know a skull with eyes probably would have translated well for the tone of this movie, but like, who cares? And also, he's missing the cape, but some modern iterations of Taskmaster don't really have the cape. But instead, we get a scarf in place of a cape for whatever reason. Now, after the release of a couple trailers, the costume grew on me, honestly. Oddly enough, we don't hear Anthony say anything in any of these trailers, but I'm wondering if it's just a trailer thing and we just hear what he has to say in the movie. Maybe this will be a faithful adaptation or a cool reinventing of the character. MCU Taskmaster was a complete letdown. Nothing like the comics, unfortunately. Now, sometimes that can be an okay thing, especially when you adapt lesser known characters. It's fun to take liberties, especially with that, and make them more interesting. But you know there's a problem when Avengers 2020 has a more cooler version of Taskmaster than the MCU. Fake ass snowboarder. I'm all for reinventing lesser known characters and making them more interesting. Characters like Ghost have more nuance now than the comics. Now, it's pretty obvious that they just wanted another Winter Soldier type. A cold, silent killer with no remorse, no emotions, just the target they're programmed to take out. It's just odd to me that they picked a character that's just nothing like the Winter Soldier. I will say this movie did a really good job of showing this Taskmaster as a threat. Sort of like a Nemesis Terminator-like assassin. Seeing those mimic powers on full display on the big screen, spotting every Avengers moveset and weapon was just amazing to see. It was also fun to see that most of the characters, instead of taking Taskmaster head on, had to outsmart him in some way. I mean her. Yeah, it's not Tony Masters this time, it's Antonia Dreykov, daughter of Russian Harvey Weinstein, aka the most forgettable MCU villain. Now, instead of a character that's driven by money and greed with a cocky attitude behind it, we get a silent, bland tool for the actual villain. Now, her backstory is when Black Widow was tasked to eliminate Ivan Dreykov. Antonia was unfortunately caught in the crossfire and was thought to be dead along with Ivan, putting Red Ledger in Black Widow or whatever. But somehow, Antonia survived the explosion, so Ivan thought it would be a good idea to put her under mind control, train her to be an assassin, and gave her mimic abilities? I just feel like this isn't the way to introduce Taskmaster into the MCU. Oddly enough, the actor for Rick Mason was originally auditioning for the role of Taskmaster, which is funny because before the movie's release, there was rumors that it was going to be revealed that Rick Mason was going to be Taskmaster.
Is there any truth to that? Were you ever going to be Taskmaster?
Basically, I first auditioned for Taskmaster And it was this, it was a really incredible speech, actually. It was what I was an audition I was very proud of. I still got it in the back someplace. I played him with an African accent, and he was this kind of maniacal character. But I was like down to like, oh, you know, is it me? Is it someone else kind of thing for that version of Taskmaster. And in the various iterations of the movie, that version of Taskmaster went away. And then they just came to me and was like, hey, this is a guy called Mason. You want to play Mason?
Also, some concept art for Taskmaster shows that he has the Masters logo on his shoulder. I guess that would imply that we were supposed to get a more comic book accurate Taskmaster that would have his own organization. I wonder if he would have that same personality then from the comics. Actually, funnily enough, I watched the newest Mortal Kombat movie, and the character of Cabal actually sort of acts like how I would think Taskmaster would be adapted.
Well. You backstabbing, two-faced, ugly motherfucker. It's been a while.
He's a low-life piece of shit scumbag. You're gonna love him.
Working with him, not for him. And trust me, it has its perks. This is fucking tragic. Look at yourself. You used to be someone to fear. Which one's your boss? Let me guess. The blonde? Oh, I'm sorry. I gotcha. Want me to slow down a little? You again. What are you waiting for, asshole? You got a big mouth for someone who's standing on the wrong side of the electric fence, tough guy. And you're on the wrong side. Fight with us, and you can have more money than you know what to do with.
Spoilers for Thunderbolts. Upon hearing that the Thunderbolts would feature Taskmaster in some capacity on the team, I got a little hyped. Maybe they could reinvent and give a little bit more personality to Taskmaster that was missing from the Black Widow film. Maybe something a little bit closer to the comic books, or again, maybe just something totally different that could be interesting. MCU Taskmaster, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, even before the movie's release, we all knew that Taskmaster wasn't making it out of that vault scene. Yeah, nobody fell for this shot in the trailers. Actually, news came out in a different version of the Thunderbolts. Antonia was to survive the vault scene. She would have had a closer tie with Yelena and Ghost of all people. She would have fought Bucky and almost win. She also would have had a running gag involving US Agent, and presumably joined the New Avengers at the end of the film. More would have been focused on her fractured mind and her memory loss issues. I wouldn't have minded any of this. I mean, sure, it's far away from the source material, but at least it's something. All in all, Taskmaster could have worked in the MCU if he was better utilized. I guess I have to wait another 10 years for the real Taskmaster to show up. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I love you.